how do we fix Street Fighter 6? Street Fighter 6 has a bit of an issue, right? First of all, game, great. Very fun. But there are issues, as with all games, right? How do we fix Street Fighter 6? Honestly, 3 things. First, this should never be allowed. The fact that I have no meter, no drive meter, and I can still do something that costs 3 drive meter, not okay. Right? Do away with that. The fact that I can do this, that costs 2 drive meter. Not okay. Not okay. That, not okay. Especially because pairing already takes half of it. Here's why, right? If you make it so that you cannot do these moves when you don't have the drive meter, you are going to make the drive meter that much more of a precious resource, right? That's going to stop people from over here doing this. That's going to stop people from doing this, like all day long, right? That's going to make people stop doing this all day long, right? That's going to fix so many problems. How many times have you been at the end of a round and you get hit by some shit that's like this? Right? And you eat 2 drive rushes. That's not okay. In my book, that's not okay. And that should not be a thing. But you could be like, oh, Ilan, combo potential. Fuck your combo potential. When you're doing like more than half health damage when you don't have the resource for it, that's not okay. If you have the full resource for it, fucking go for it. Who cares? Right? If you have the full 6 bars, fucking go for it. Do whatever the fuck you want. You have 6 bars. You manage those resources properly and you have it. If you don't have those resources but you can still do it, that to me is incorrect. Second, the fact that I'm recovering drive meter during my level 3, I believe also not okay. Right? Now, should you be able to recover drive meter when you're in your level 3? Sure. Right? I think that's a very interesting mechanic. Using your level 3, you get a little bit of your drive gauge back. But look at how much of this shit you get back. Right? See, you get 2.5 meters. You get 2.5 drive range or drive meter back. That's too much. Why? Making drive meter a more precious resource that you have to pay more attention to is going to make it worth that much more and is going to make people think twice about doing dumb shit all the time. Getting cold feet? Right? Getting meter back like this makes a wake up level 3 reward so much more attractive than its risk, right? If I mash my level 3 on wake up and get huge damage and meter back and go back into neutral, I think that's too much reward for the risk, right? I genuinely think that's too much reward for the risk, especially because even when you block a level 3, you're already losing meter in the first place, right? So even if it doesn't quite go your way and the person blocks, you're still taking away a bar of meter. So if you hit, you get some of your meter back, you get this gigantic amount of damage, and you get to go back to, and sometimes, most of the time actually, you get advantage. So Luke gets hit by this. He's losing hella meter. I'm gaining meter. We're back to neutral, and I'm +8. If he blocks, he still loses a bar of meter, right? I think the big change would be to take away a little bit of that meter recovery. Honestly, armor moves don't work when you go low. This is the same thing in Tekken 8, by the way. Armor moves don't work when you go low. So why in the world, when you're establishing that armor moves don't work that way, is drive impact. Why does it work this way for drive impact? Right? BDX talked a lot about, in his video with the recent Tekken changes, he talked a lot about lack of clarity. This is, I think, one of those lack of clarity issues. Why am I getting hit when you've established that all armor moves don't work when you hit low? Yet here we are, right? To a degree, I think this change would be good, but it wouldn't be great as the meter change that I've talked about with the other moves, right? Reason being is this costs more to do than some of the other armor moves, correct? So taking the low away might make drive impacts completely unusable. Honestly, I'm kind of okay with that, to be honest. This would help make Drive Rush a much more balanced risk-reward factor than it is right now, right? Because what are the risks of you using a drive impact? Somebody else using a drive impact? Somebody throwing? And a super, right? One of those options takes a shit ton of meter. The other one of those options is in very specific circumstances, right? You're not able to throw a drive impact all the time. It's actually like a very specific amount of situations that you can actually do. Same thing with the second impact, if you will, the drive impact of drive impact, right? There are some situations where that is not possible, specifically if you're burnt out. So with you taking away the armor on the low hitboxes, or like as a low, much like how every other armor move works, you have some answers to drive impact that you would not otherwise have. So it's not like a 100% checkmate. It's only like a 99% checkmate. You know what I'm saying? Because if people use, like, if you don't have any meter and you get meaty drive impacted, you're still going to eat it, right? Like, that's still going to be there, that checkmate. And I'm all for that checkmate because a lot of decisions were made that put you in that position, right? It's kind of like the Marvel thing. You put yourself in that position, you deserve it, right? If you have no meter, no drive meter, you have no super meter, you done fucked up, right? So, in changing the hitbox low, I think it makes it a little bit too weak, and I am okay with not having that change. However, I am not opposed to having this be a little too weak as opposed to a little too strong. You know what I mean? But that's it. Genuinely, make it so that you cannot use more drive meter than you have. Make it so the recovery of the drive meter during level 3s is halved. Those two changes, I think, will put this game in a much better position for risk-reward stuff. Because if you make the drive meter, if you make the drive meter that much more of a precious resource instead of, you know, what it currently is right now, where you have all of these opportunities to use more than you have, all of these opportunities to recover it, then I think the game will balance itself out, right? And the characters who benefit more from drive meters as opposed to other characters will balance itself out naturally if you do it that way. That's my hope. That's my case. If you disagree with me, just let me know. Let's have a discussion about it. But I think, genuinely, just those changes. You don't have to change anything else. I know a lot of people are upset about drive parry, perfect parry, all this other shit. That's fine. That's fine. Those are going to become more important if this change is made, right? Because drive meter is going to be that much more precious. And drive parry is the way that you can recover meter while blocking. And it inherently takes risk. You can get thrown. And when you don't parry correctly, you also get a punish count.